right, guys, here we go. Another edition of the Miami Dolphins recap. As today was week 3, as it was the Miami Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills, and the home opener for the Miami Dolphins at now the remade as this two phases of the transformation of the brand new Sun Life Stadium in Miami. And you're thinking, glorious day, all right, decent weather. You're going up against a team that gave up over 400 yards of offense and for over 40 points as they were basically beaten down by the New England Patriots. And you would think that Miami would have been a little bit of an angry mood after letting one get away from Jacksonville, right? Oh no. What we had today was a very uninspired, very lackluster, zombie-like performance by the Miami Dolphins, and it was over before it got started, guys. At the end of the day, the Buffalo Bills embarrasses the Miami Dolphins 41-14 when this was all said and done. Back to the drawing board is not even the word I would say about this. I'll get into my thoughts much later in the game or much later in this review. But I am joined by Anthony Florio. He's a big-time diehard Buffalo Bills fan. Plus, you guys know him pretty well as the co-host of The Wrestling Forum, the co-host of Strictly Sports when we do our regular show, and plus he also is a panelist member and actually the host of College Football Fridays on YouTube.com. So he's been a big-time Buffalo Bills fan. Plus, we do some other projects on the side. The New York Ranger Roundup, the Chicago Bulls Corner. So it's good to have him on the show. Let's dive right into the game and let's talk about this because I know he's going to be grinning from ear to ear on this one while I'm giving the recap and then we'll get his thoughts. So this is what happened, plain and simple. What started out was basically Miami went 3-and-out, and Buffalo got the ball. Then a 5-play, 77-yard drive that only took a mere 2 minutes and 17 seconds, where Tyrod Taylor finds Charles Clay. Yeah, that Charles Clay, the former tight end of the Miami Dolphins. 25 yards out for the touchdown, and Buffalo jumps out to a 7-0 lead. Yeah, like, all right. I mean, bad start by the defense. Okay, we could get that one back. Miami's next drive, they pretty much stalled out. It was only a 5-play drive, so they ended up punting the football back to Buffalo. Then an 8-play, 81-yard drive that took over 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and LaShawn McCoy gets a touchdown. From 10 yards out, rushes it right into the end zone. It's now 14-0 Buffalo Bills. And then at that point, you're thinking, all right, what the heck's going on? What Miami, what are you doing? You're letting Buffalo dictate the pace. You're letting them eat you alive offensively, defensively. You got to wake up. I mean, this is the home opener. You're playing like zombies. What are you doing? Miami doesn't do anything on their next drive. Neither does Buffalo. So Miami gets the ball. Ryan Tannehill ready to throw it. It gets picked. Interception. Basically, that takes it all the way to about the 35-yard line. Ryan Tannehill throws an ill-advised pass, but all right, I know the Tannehill faithful is going to start, the haters of Tannehill is going to start jumping all over him because this was his first INT in over 180-something attempts. You can't blame this on Tannehill, though, and I'm not. The reason why for this interception went off Jarvis Landry's hands. He should have caught the ball first, and then Brown basically picks it off. So you can't blame him on that. That was a bad mistake, unfortunate. So what happens next? Buffalo gets the ball, runs it down the field, gets it to a decent level. It ends up being Dan Carpenter hitting a field goal from 26 yards out. That makes the score 17-0 for the Buffalo Bills, and we were in the second quarter at that point. So the next thing that happens, so the next thing that happens there is Miami gets the ball, can't do nothing with it. They punt it away. Buffalo can't do nothing with theirs, so they punt it right back to Miami. And then the backbreaker. It was a pick six. Ryan Tannehill throwing into coverage. Preston Brown gets the INT, rushes it back 43 yards to the house for the touchdown. Yeah, you want to talk about backbreaking plays? That makes it 24-0 for Buffalo. Then at that point, Miami tried to make one last ditch effort to try to move it down the field. Ryan Tannehill throws another interception, gets picked off by Darby this time around. Basically runs it back about 21 yards and basically sets Buffalo up. Then the next thing you know, Buffalo moves it down the field. Dan Carpenter with another field goal from 51 yards out, going in the recess or what we call halftime, 27-0 Buffalo on Miami. Ugh. You know what, Anthony? Why don't you talk about the first half? Because I'm gonna have more to say about the second half, but we'll break this down in half. So you go ahead, take it, go.
Well, I don't know how I can follow that, but I will. I will certainly do my best. Yes, hello, friends. Anthony Florio here with you on this, on as a part of Michael Fletcher's Miami Dolphins recap video. Strictly Sports Buddy Bowl this afternoon and evening. The Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins getting together, and I knew Buffalo was going to win. Honestly, I did. I did not think it was going to be this close. I did not think it was going to be this lopsided. Wow. Oh, my goodness gracious, did they come to play today? After they got embarrassed at home by the Patriots, I mean, you knew they were going to be out for blood. And, well, they wanted that Dolphin blood, and they got it, man. They squished the fish today, baby. That's all there is to say on that. Wow, the all-around game was amazing. But that first half, though, Fletch, I mean, I tell you, 27-0, Tyrod Taylor. I mean, Buffalo has been looking for that, that big name, looking for that quarterback to be, to try to be the next incarnation of Jim Kelly, who, of course, will forever and a day be the greatest quarterback in the history of the Buffalo Bills franchise. And then, we had some good names, like Drew Bledsoe, and had some good years. Fitzpatrick, obviously, Doug Flutie, and just to name a few. But some haven't worked out, but Tyrod Taylor is the quarterback of the future, my friends. That's all there is to say about it. And honestly, I was skeptical going in. I had some doubts, of course. Rex Ryan saw something in him, and he believed in him. And Tyrod Taylor rewarded him in a big-time way. I mean, finding your old friend, Fletch, Charles Clay. Yeah, thanks for giving him up, by the way, so we could get him. I mean, that was a blessing right there, no doubt. And then, yeah, like Fletch said, I mean, looking at the first half there, I mean, Tyrod Taylor with two touchdown passes, one to Charles Clay and one to LaShawn McCoy, and then Danny Carpenter, another old friend of yours, Fletch, two field goals, one from 26 and 51, and then Preston Brown with the backbreaker, the 43-yard interception return for the touchdown as Bakari Rambo came up behind and put some major hot sauce on Mr. Tannehill, and that allowed Brown to get the easy pick and take it to the house for what was definitely the back-breaking touchdown for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, I can honestly say that was the best. I mean, I thought 2 weeks ago against Indianapolis, when that first half against Indianapolis, I thought that was the best I've seen in a long time. But this first half today was far and away the best first half performance I have ever seen. Well, I've seen from a Buffalo Bills team in a very long time. Fletch, I've been a long-suffering Buffalo Bills fan for the last 16 years. I mean, that's how long it's been since they made the postseason. I mean, last time they made the playoffs, we were sophomores in high school, for goodness sakes. Man, do I feel old. But nonetheless, I could not be any more happier, be any more pleased, and even more so delighted with a performance. That was a performance for the ages. That to me was a 5-star first half performance by the Buffalo Bills. Whereas for your Dolphins, well, not enough to say that their performance was the worst I've seen from a Dolphins team in a very long time. That's all I can say about that. So I was, as that first half was coming to a close, me being the man of good faith and the holy roller that I am, I was praying for you boys. I was praying for you, for Eric Carrier, and the rest of your Dolphin Nation. And I know you got a big army. I mean, your Dolphin Nation army is just as big as the Patriot Nation army, even though that's far and away bigger. With Michael Bullock and Derek Ferreira and a lot of family and church family and other friends of ours. I know some of your 2184 crew, but your Dolphin Nation, I was thinking about all of you. I was thinking, man, Fletch has got to be PO'd. I know for damn sure Eric Carrier was PO'd, being the hothead that he is at times. And I know your good friend, your very special friend, Lisa Medeiros, and several other Dolphin Nation members. And I know you probably have some 2184 crew folks who are Dolphin fans just like you are. But I was like, what are they thinking right now? And I'm like, I can honestly bet they're all pissed. Nobody more so than Michael Fletcher and Eric Carrier. So to sum it all up before we get to the second half, Fletch, the Dolphins' performance in the first half, an absolute dud, like a dud enhancement talent. You know what? Let me just say it like this. What the Buffalo Bills did to the Miami Dolphins in that first half, Fletch, it was like Braun Strowman of the Wyatt family squeezing the life out of, for example, like what he's done with Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, and of course your boy Randy Orton, obviously. It was basically a Braun Strowman squash. Simple as that. Man, I have never been more pleased with the first half performance than I was with that. Never more so. I've waited a long, long time for this, man. And man, did that feel good to watch. Man, was that fun to watch. Let's go to the second half.
Second half starts out. Basically, Buffalo gets the ball first. They move it down the field, looking pretty good. And basically, Dan Carpenter goes for a 54-yard field goal and misses. So you're thinking, oh, maybe this might be the start of something good. We'll see what happens. Next thing we know, Miami gets a 6-play, 56-yard drive, and it is Ryan Tannehill finding Rashad Matthews for the touchdown, 21 yards out. Then Miami actually does something very uncharacteristic, goes for the two-point conversion and gets it. Jarvis Landry from 2 yards out. The attempt succeeds. So now we're down. So now it's 34. It's actually 27-8. So you're thinking, all right, maybe get a nice little stop here. Maybe we can get something going. Maybe we can mount a little bit of a comeback. Yeah, some comeback. It basically ends on the next drive. 11 plays, 80 yards, almost 5.5 minutes. And once again, it's LaShawn McCoy getting a big run, 38 yards to the house, finds his way into the end zone for the touchdown. And it basically, that's practically ball game at that point. It goes to 30. Now the score goes all the way up to basically 34-8 as we go into the fourth quarter. Then in the fourth quarter, basically Miami couldn't do nothing. Basically goes down on the downs. Buffalo punts. Miami gets another touchdown later in the game, as it was Rashad Matthews again from 46 yards. Ryan Tannehill to Rashad Matthews for the second touchdown of the game for him, and that was basically gets it up to 41-14. They try to go for the PAT, and Andrew Franks misses it. I mean, really, like that was practically the day of the Miami Dolphins. If one thing was going right, something had to go wrong. So Buffalo gets the ball back. It only takes them 2 plays. E.J. Manuel checks into the game. He basically becomes the quarterback, and he basically finds Carlos Williams 41 yards for the touchdown. That gives it the 41-14 score, and that's how the game ends. 41-14. The Buffalo Bills knocks off the Miami Dolphins. And let's just go through the stats of the game. Tyrod Taylor, 277 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, unbelievable game for him. Carlos Williams, 110 yards rushing with a touchdown. Charles Clay had 5 catches for 82 yards. Percy Harvin, 7 for 66. Chris Hogan, 3 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown in the game as well. Actually, it was Chris Hogan that got the last touchdown. I stand corrected on that. And then for the Miami Dolphins, all right, where do I begin? Ryan Tannehill, 26 of 49, 297 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 INTs. He was sacked twice in the game. Jonas Gray was the leading rusher, 9 carries for 49 yards. Lamar Miller had 7 carries for 38 yards. Receiving core, it was Rashad Matthews, 6 catches, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns for him. Jarvis Landry had 8 catches for 67 yards. Levante Parker, 3 catches for 46 yards. And it was basically a complete and utter disaster. Buffalo, I mean, let's see. Buffalo had 2 sacks. They had four tackles that was driven for losses. Of course, Preston Brown took one all the way back for a touchdown. There's really nothing else to say about their performance. They absolutely dominated this game. I mean, there was no sacks from Miami. Did not even record a sack in this game at all. Preston Brown got 2 INTs. One got ran back all the way for a touchdown. Ronald Darby got the other INT on Ryan Tannehill during the game. It was basically a dominating performance by the Buffalo Bills from beginning to end. Anthony, why don't you go ahead, talk about the second half, and then give us your feelings about who was your major stars of the game for Buffalo. Go ahead, it's yours.
Major stars of the game. I mean, there's too many to count. Like I said, all around, like I said on my Facebook post, if you read it, an all-around team effort by the Buffalo Bills today. And, well, second half, I mean, Miami does start off very strongly. They got that score, and I'm like, okay, 27-8, yeah, okay, whatever. And then Buffalo, and then, Tannehill finding Rashard Matthews there. And then first play of the fourth quarter, Tyrod Taylor went for it all. Fleck, you know that. He went for it all. And he found his man, Chris Hogan, hulked up in the end zone for that touchdown, 34-8. Then Tannehill finds Matthews again for a fourth. The only real highlight your Dolphins had was that second Matthews score, that 46-yarder. I mean, it was I think it was fourth down and quite a bit to go. Tannehill was flushed in the pocket, and he just threw up a prayer, and it was answered by Matthews, who went in untouched. He was down when he caught the ball, but then he was never touched, so he was able to roll in for the score. So made it 34-14, and then Carlos Williams out of Florida, the rookie out of Florida State, 41-yard rushing score. Put the exclamation point on that. 41-14, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, there are some other numbers I want to share. The Bills outgained the Dolphins in total yards, 428 to 391. 3 turnovers, obviously, all interceptions. And Tyrod Taylor was not sacked. What a difference a week makes. A week ago, New England sacked him 8 times in that game last week. This week, your boys didn't even get him once. Amazing. However, the Buffalo did get 2 sacks of Brian Tannehill, one by Marcel Darius and the other by Stephon Charles. I believe he had the other, and then the 3 picks, 2 by Preston Brown, 1 to the house, and then the other by Darby, like Fletch said. And oh my goodness, I mean, where do I even start as far as stars of the game are concerned? First and foremost, I have to say Tyrod Taylor. I mean, I'd be an idiot to leave him out. I mean, 21 out of 29. 277 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, a quarterback rating of 136.7. Whereas your boy, Mr. Tannehill, even though he had solid numbers, 297, 2 TDs, but he threw 3 picks and had a QB rating of 59.7. But like I said, Tyrod Taylor first and foremost. He's my name. Carlos Williams, another star of the game, 110 yards and a touchdown, including that 41-yarder to put it away. I also got to show some love for your old friend Charles Clay, 82 yards and a receiving touchdown. Hogan with a receiving touchdown as well. I got to give him some props too. I mean, I thought Harvin played a solid game as well, 66 yards. Another old friend of yours, Fletch, Danny Carpenter, kicker. Yeah, he missed only one field goal, but who cares? We didn't need it. I mean, we would have been fine anyway. 5 PATs, 2 out of 3 on field goals, 51. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, obviously, Preston Brown with the 2 interceptions and including the one for the touchdown. I mean, he was my defensive star. Although Marcel Darius had a great game with a sack, and Stephon Charles with a sack. Darby, I thought, was dynamic today. He was all over the place, even though he got banged up. Corey Graham with 10 tackles today. Bakari Rambo, I got to give him some love too. I mean, like I said, there's just too many stars to count, Fletch. I mean, all-around team effort. I mean, I have been waiting and waiting and waiting for a performance like this from my Buffalo Bills. I mean, and on this day, this is a day I'm never going to forget, man, because what the Buffalo Bills did today, all-around team effort, offense, defense, a little bit of some special teams, but it was all about the O and the D. And I for one, could not have been any more prouder and any more delighted to be a Buffalo Bills fan after this performance today. You better believe they are going to be moving on up in my Strictly Sports NFL Saturday power rankings. And Michael Fletcher, I'm hopeful. I mean, I'm not sure if you're going to be on, but I don't know if you're going to be on Saturday night for NFL Saturday. But if you are, well, if you do a power ranking, or whether you post it on your own, I'm really hoping you. I think after this performance today, you really should have my Buffalo Bills in there. I'm just saying. So, all in all, that was a performance for the ages. A 5-star performance by the Buffalo Bills this afternoon and evening at Sun Life Stadium in Miami. Can we keep it up? Can they do it again next week as they go home and host the New York Giants, coming off their first win of the year on Thursday night against the Washington Redskins? But Fletch, it doesn't get any easier for you boys, because now you boys have to go to the Cathedral of Soccer, as Derek Ferreira calls it, Wembley Stadium in London, England, for a 9:30 in the morning kickoff here against another division rival, the New York Jets. But the Jets, though, they lost today to the Philadelphia Eagles, as they're the only team that the Jets have never beaten. They've never beaten the Philadelphia Eagles. They're now 0-10 now against them. So, wow. A lot of surprises in the NFL today. But if you ask me, what happened today with Buffalo and Miami, Michael Fletcher, far and away the biggest surprise of the day. I knew Buffalo was going to win. I just didn't think they were going to just go in there, kick the door down, and make themselves at home at Sun Life Stadium this afternoon and evening. So there's nothing left for me to say except I do have a special message I want to send to Michael Fletcher, to Eric Carrier, and the rest of your little Dolphin Nation. And that is, I got the bragging rights on this one. So if you have the bragging rights, you know I have to do it. Let's go, Buffalo. Bills Mafia in the house. Squish the fish, indeed. Ow! Michael Fletcher, how do you follow that?
Well, I gotta say, yeah, today Buffalo does get the bragging rights, and I know and I actually know somebody who is a member of the 2184 crew, who's actually one of my managers. I'm probably gonna get it from him too tomorrow. So if I do see him, so I don't know, but yeah, it was a bad loss, no doubt about it. Embarrassing performance by the Miami Dolphins, to say the very least. And like you said, it doesn't get easier, because now you got to go on the road. Well, actually, go across the pond into the Cathedral of Soccer at the beautiful Wembley Stadium to play the New York Jets, who did lose to the Philadelphia Eagles today, and they actually put up quite a lackluster performance. But for Buffalo, because they did win, You guys are 2-1. Now you go back home and you're going up against a team that actually just won on Thursday night, the New York Giants. And now they probably are feeling, hey, this is renewed life in their eyes because of the fact that, the Cowboys did lose today. So now they're right in the thick of the NFC East. So definitely a big matchup next week. Giants and Buffalo. That game's at 1 o'clock on Fox. So keep your eyes peeled, folks. We might get that game in that area. And then of course for Miami, we got an early we got to fly out to London, back to square one. I made a little comment earlier today saying that we should not hesitate and try to get rid of Joe Philbin. The guy has not brought anything to the Miami Dolphins. The culture, the attitude, the winning spirit. We put all that money for a playoff Super Bowl caliber team. And in 3 weeks, we easily could have gone 0-3 to start this NFL season. That is unacceptable. And in my eyes, that is absolutely ridiculous. When you put Dominic Sue and give him $114 million to play defense. You revamp your defense. You bring some guys to help with the offensive line. You relooked wide receiving core, and we can't run the ball. We can't protect Ryan Tannehill. And this is not all on Tannehill. So everybody who starts jumping on Tannehill, get off his back. Because there's been a few games where he's actually been pretty good. Not great, but good. So at the end of the day, Miami's got to get their butts out of their rear ends and start playing like the Dolphins we expect them to play. There was high expectations for them going into this season, and they have been letting Dolphin fans down. Straight to the point. This game, I hope, is the wake-up call for all Dolphins fans to get on the line, get to Stephen Ross, and tell him that enough is enough, and we got to do the changes now. Not wait till London, not wait till the bye week. This is our time, because if this doesn't happen, it's going to get worse. Plain and simple. Dolphins play in London next week against the New York Jets. We got to play, and we got to be inspired and fired up like we've never been before. Plain and simple. All right, guys, so that does it for us this week. Tomorrow night is the Wrestling Forum on Anthony's channel, The Tone 25 at 11 p.m. Eastern. We're going to recap Monday Night Raw and then anything that might be added in the world of professional wrestling. So, Anthony, thank you so much for doing this. Hey, we might be doing this again very soon. Maybe we do this on November 11th when the Bills and the Dolphins renews their rivalry. But this time around, it's going to be in Orchard Park, New York, at the Buffalo Bills at Ralph Wilson Stadium. We'll see what happens then. So, until then, I'm Mike Fletcher. I'll see you guys next week for another edition of the Miami Dolphins recap, as it will be the Dolphins versus the Jets from Wembley Stadium in London, England. So until then, we will see you very soon. All right, just to give you a side note, it's not November 11th, it's November 8th. The Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins get it on again in Orchard Park, New York. Until then, have a good night, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.